You want Philly?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's easy to sum it up. We're talking about practice.
Because it's about as casual as it gets.
What's the problem now?
That's a clown question, bro.
I think we ought to see them beating in that league.
World champions! Start playing with some jam in here. Let's go.
Philadelphia, looking as only you can look. Woo!
Here we go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Diamond Club Podcast. I'm John Hunter. This is Chris Lahiff and Danny, the Pitchman Hart. Boys, what's up?
What's going on, gentlemen?
Nothing.
Straight up not having a good time.
Dude, this stinks.
So frustrating.
And it gets more frustrating every day. And I didn't think it could, but it's just like, don't get me wrong. Like I know the Cubs aren't playing like bad baseball right now. Like they've been playing pretty solid baseball the last 2 weeks now, since Schwindel decided to just be an absolute unit. And Patrick Wisdom's been having he's having a solid year too. I mean, hitting the shit out of the ball. He's hit a lot of homers.
Yeah, he just tied Chris Bryant's rookie home run record.
But this is starting to get really frustrating with, the starting pitching's good for 5 innings and then the middle innings hit and then they do this shit. And you had, again, tonight, look at this. You had Kyle Gibson with a no-hitter through 4 2/3?
Perfect through 4.
Perfect through 4.
No, it was 4.
Which is 4.
7 strikeouts look great.
Yes. Like he's not a strikeout pitcher either. So him grabbing strikeouts the way he was, leadoff single,
no, he's not.
home run, and then another home run. They can never just give up like a 2-run homer and it'd be like, all right, made a mistake pitch. No, and then the theme now has been let's follow it up with another mistake pitch, and it's extremely frustrating to watch this. And as much as I sit here and I keep telling myself stop believing in it, I can't. And I don't know why I can't. Like I feel like the minute that I just give up, they're gonna reel off 9 straight wins, and I'm gonna be like, well, now I can't do anything here because I'm supposed to be out, and I can't be out right now, and I want to be out. I want to be out so bad, but I just can't be out.
No, I mean, listen, we're going into week 2 of the NFL season, and the Philadelphia Phillies are still relevant. So, like, that's a win right now. I mean, don't get me wrong. Them losing last week to, the worst road team in the league. It really should have brought us back to reality, but it didn't. We're Philadelphia fans. We know what hurt is, and we're gonna follow them until they're officially eliminated, and then we're gonna switch gears to base. We're gonna switch gears as Philadelphia fans to football. And that's just how it goes in Philadelphia. It sucks, because I'm a big baseball guy, but unfortunately that's the way it goes. And
but why do we have to just be okay with it though? Like I feel and it's sad because Chris, I feel like right now the way you're telling me this, like it's like I'm a child and I'm getting prepared for grandmom to die. Yeah, you're instead of just telling me she's dying
every
she's
night,
dead, you're like, listen, she's about to go to sleep for a really long time, and then I'm supposed to just be okay with that. I don't want to be okay with that. That's not what I want to be. Okay, I don't want to be that. I want you. Yeah, I know. It sounds
wow.
Yeah, you're right. It sounds morbid, but
you're absolutely right. No,
but you're trying to break this down to me as if well, you're from Philadelphia, John. This is what happens. I shouldn't have to deal with that. It shouldn't just be okay. I shouldn't just be all right, I'm just going to accept the hurt because I'm from Philadelphia. No, I shouldn't just accept the hurt. I shouldn't have to do that.
I'm with you 100%, but unfortunately, that's just how
I
Philadelphia
keep telling you
sports
guys
is.
I'm on.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
He's for-
No, he's not.
Yeah, I keep telling you
he's not-
guys that I'm on night work. Just that's why we haven't been doing shows. I just don't feel like talking about this team. I haven't worked in 2 months.
He's collecting on. Well, we know you ain't collecting unemployment because those benefits stop. Oh, you're terrible.
Yeah, listen, Dan, I don't blame you at all. I've almost used my wife's going into labor about 3 different times just so I can get out of doing this because I don't feel like talking anymore about them.
All I can see is our next live show, like when the Phillies
Absolutely.
officially get eliminated.
Yeah,
There's gonna be a bottle of water put over in your hand, be like, all right, guys, I gotta go. My wife.
I gotta go. From upstairs apparently. There's a hole in my ceiling at all times, just waiting
Oh,
for
her
it.
water broke all over me.
Like
From the sky.
I shouldn't have to deal with this. You shouldn't have to talk to me like that. Like we're from Philadelphia, John. Just fucking deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. I'm tired of dealing with it. I'm going to now just be more vocal about how upset I am with it. Like we shouldn't. We are at the point now, and we're gonna do this segment tonight where we talk about who we believe is the problem and why it's the problem. Like, and I just continue to, to circle around what could be the problem here. And I've tried to blame players. I've tried to blame Girardi. I've tried to do all of that.
Right, and we can blame Girardi as much as you want, but like Danny said earlier in the season, like he's throwing out the lineup that he's given. What else is he supposed to do? They refuse to bring up Moniak.
He's up now, but
he's up now, but
they're just using him pitch in situations, and it's just not for him.
Why is Bryson Stott has been tearing the ball off of Double A? Why isn't he up in Triple A? There's things like this that need to be done to get these guys ready for 2022. Like if you want to mail it in, then let these guys play because I can't take another Didi Gregorius ball thrown into the first base stands. I can't take it no more. Like he's liability.
He's not an everyday player anymore, and he's not right now. He's not an everyday player.
He's a liability on the field with his glove, and he's a liability at the bat. Like it's like how many times? What? How many times do we need to see this as fans? How does a front office not see this? Like we text each other. We text each other every day about how good Bryson Stott is, or how good Mickey Moniak was doing. When Spencer Howard was pitching in the minors, like these guys, like Mick Abel, like when they were doing good, we were texting each other, and like just we're all waiting for that tweet or that text. The Phillies have sent so and so to AAA. I've called up Mickey Moniak. Like I don't understand it. Like, and I don't understand why the Phillies aren't following John Hunter on Twitter yet. Like, I don't get that.
Me neither, Chris. And you know what? They tweeted at me today. We talked. But once following me comes up, I get radio silence. It's just we're going to ignore you now. They play hard to get. I'm telling you, it's a true hard to get situation with me and them, and I know that they know. I know that they know. And Harper with an RBI double. No, double. Yep.
There you go.
Let's give it.
What a ball player.
He's a great ball player, and it's just he is willing this team into a position to where right now that they need to be, and he is the only reason. Imagine not having him.
I mean, it was
It would have been out 2 months ago,
right?
If they didn't have Harper.
I was taking my daughter or son, one of them, to sports tonight, and I had the game on the radio. It was my son. And Larry Anderson's like, can you imagine? Or Scott Franks was like, can you imagine if they didn't have Bryce on this team? And Larry Anderson's like, they would have been out 2 months ago.
Yeah, 100% they would be. And that's not even like debatable.
And it just
like what you were just saying, like Didi.
He's got to be the MVP, right?
Not an everyday player at this point. That's the problem with our lineup right now. Half of our team is not an everyday player, and Girardi has no choice but to keep them in the lineup. He has no other options. Like I'm obviously I'm not a big Girardi fan myself, but at this point, like the cards have not worked out for him. Like the cards he's dealt are terrible. They were the same way with Kapler, and Kapler didn't do well either. And now look at Kapler with a well-built team. They already clinched. Like it's the organization like letting down the team and the fans. It's just ridiculous that it happens year in and year out. Hopefully, with Dombrowski, the tides are starting to turn at least, and he is making moves. So moving forward, I mean,
it's to be honest, it has to be. And you have right now, like, but one of those people that we talk about, and when I say isn't an everyday player anymore, right now, McCutchen is not an everyday player right now. And it's not because he's a bad. He cannot hit right-handed pitching. He just can't. His slash line. Are you guys ready?
If Brad Miller and if McCutchen and Brad Miller could just run into each other super fast and create one person, that would be a decent ball player. But
do you want to hear his slash line coming into this game versus right-handed pitching?
I bet you it's MVP-esque.
And you have this is one of my biggest issues with Joe Girardi. And I don't again, I'm doing my best these days trying not to blame him for shit. But when you're a guy who says that he plays numbers and matchups and stuff like that, so in what world? I don't give a fuck if who you have. I'm sorry for cursing. I'm trying to curve that on here. In what world would you start in a matchup situation, a hitter versus right-handed pitching, which predominantly the league is right-handed pitchers. So versus right-handed pitching this year, Andrew McCutchen's slash line coming into today, he's already 0 for 2, by the way, is .176 average, a 287 on base percentage, and a 324 slugging percentage. That is a 611 OPS. In what world is that a good matchup? I don't give a shit if you have Mickey Moniak out there every night and he strikes out.
Why isn't Moniak in the field every day?
Why isn't he facing just right-handed hitters, right-handed pitches? That's a great way to bring him into the big leagues. Let him just face right-handed pitching.
Yep.
You don't have to start him every day. Just start him against right-handed pitching.
Platooning you're allowed to platoon. Like look at Pujols, he crosses lefties. Like the Dodgers aren't afraid to do it. Like
platoon him.
These things exist for a reason. Like
he is no longer.
That's the problem. We have positions on our field that are platoon players. Like it's a recipe for disaster. But like continuously running out McCutchen against righties doesn't make sense. Like you have to try something. Like you have to deviate from your plans at some point.
Like you got to, for instance, it's a fucking 2-run game. It's a 2-run game right now because of Harper's RBI double with no outs. McCutchen comes in, lines out to the shortstop. Not even a liner. It was a weak fly ball to this shortstop. It's. I hope so, Rye. I really do. I'm really just pushing for it. But anyway, but that's my biggest problem with this is. Stop telling me that this guy is analytical. He is not analytical. There is zero analytics in him. If there was, Nola wouldn't face guys after once he faces them for the third time. That would be gone. That would be it. He would never face a lineup the third time through. He has done it numerous times this year, and it has burned the Phillies every single time. You have McCutchen, like I mentioned, with probably the worst slash line on the team versus right-handed pitches. And he is continuously in the lineup. Odubel Herrera is another one. Given he led off with a home run tonight, and that's great. But Odubel Herrera should not be leading off, and he has led off far too much in the last 2 months. It's the same lineup every single night.
Right, and
like a week maybe that he didn't lead off, and that was about it.
Yeah, and instead he went, "I'm going to lead off Realmuto." Matt Vierling.
So we each had Matt Vierling, who we ripped, and then he went on that tear for like 2
And and listen, I'm not. I wouldn't even be mad if he played left field for a little bit, just to get McCutchen off the field versus right-handed pitching. Just get him off the field versus right-handed pitchers.
So
it's brutal.
So obviously we all have
issues.
Possibly 3 things that each of us have picked out. We haven't said anything to anybody. So my issue is, John actually brought up, is our leadoff spot. It's been handled awful this year. Like,
Very poor.
Whether it's not playing Mickey Moniak in the beginning of the season, or putting a Double at first, or putting a Double at 8th. Like, what's that say about what you're doing, what you think of the lineup, or what you think of the leadoff spot? Like, when you have a Double hitting first, or you're hitting 8th.
Yeah,
like really, it's not even like he was hitting 1 or 2, like in 07, 08, 09, when you would have Jimmy Rollins and Victorino, where they would flip flop back and forth, 1 and 2, or they would drop Victorino down to 7 or 8, and it made sense. Like this lineup construction of a Double batting first, and then 3 games later batting 8th. It doesn't make sense. Like, and there's nothing anybody can say to convince me otherwise. I don't care, and I don't care how hot a Double was 2 weeks ago when I got a debate about Bryce Harper being a leadoff guy. I know we had on Breen 2 weeks ago, and he made some very valid points
on why he thought, that's fine. That he and me and him have talked off record about that, and it's just continuously getting in the same spot. Like but that's the thing. He knows that Odubel is not a leadoff guy, but he believes right now that's the only thing they can do. There's no other options, and Harper is just Mr. Hustle. Dude leads in runs scored on this team.
Why not just set the table every chance you get and just lead him off? I don't understand. But what other team in the major leagues or teams that are trying to contend for a playoff spot have a guy that either bats 8th or first, there's no in between for him, and then when he's not leading off, a bench guy leads off? There is no other teams that do that. Like, that does not make sense. You don't just bring in bench guys off the that doesn't. It's not logical at all to put a player from the bench into the leadoff spot. Like, that doesn't make sense, and he does it all the time. Like, it's just
right. And because I know when Matt Breen was on, he was talking about batting leadoff and how the Phillies were making that comeback during that game when we were live, and he was like, well, if that happens, you have to hope your 8 and 9 hitter gets on. For him to come up with a bases loaded or runners on first and second. I said, yeah, but that changes the whole aspect of how a pitcher is going to pitch to that 8 and 9 hitter. Like we know that the pitcher is going to get fastballs and junk. He's not going to get anything to hit. But sometimes you gotta change your philosophy when it comes to pitching. Maybe when you bat Bryce leadoff, you bat the pitcher 8th, and you have the 8th batter bat 9th. Like there's certain aspects how you can change this lineup to construct it to where it benefits having Bryce Harper batting leadoff. Like, what is Kyle Gibson? That dude does nothing but hit. I feel like when he is getting through his first 3 innings,
he's definitely one of the best hitters on the team.
Like, at one point he had more hits than the Cubs, and then the Cubs hit, as Danny put, some piss missiles out of the ballpark.
All over the place, yeah.
What is wrong with batting, a pitcher 8th and having the 8th batter bat 9th? Like, what's wrong with batting Treyas 9th? And then you have the lineup being turned over. Like, you're then forcing the other team's hand.
That's another one of my issues with Girardi. Is the Ronald Torreyes thing. I'm sorry, I don't understand having him play every day. He is not a benefit right now for this team. There's zero benefit in putting him in the everyday lineup. There's none. Like, he can hit. He fields well. But stop making it like this dude is Scott Rowland at third base. He's not. He's not a fantastic defensive player. He's a league average defensive player.
It goes back to what we had at third base.
Exactly, and that's what this is always going to be. It's always going to be he's better defensively than Alec Boehm, and that's a given. But this is another thing. They knew coming into drafting Alec Boehm what he was defensively.
Yeah,
they knew that.
Project.
He was terrible in college.
Dude, he had like 17 errors or 18 errors in like 50 games.
Yeah, like 40 games. Yeah.
Like at Wichita State, you knew that this dude was not an everyday third baseman. Why you didn't say maybe when you get to the pros, maybe switch to like left field or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Why not do that now? Why they didn't do that?
About ground balls.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and this is where I really have a struggle with, like, where they're going, so my biggest problem is the front office. The front office has been brutal. From and I'm not even just considering just right now's front office. This shit's been wrong since Clintek. This is John Middleton. John Middleton himself, the owner, is an issue right now. He so badly wants to be the Los Angeles Dodgers, but he's not. And it's like an obsession with trying to like match them. But if they truly think that they're even in the same atmosphere as an organization as the Los Angeles Dodgers, they're absolutely insane.
Well, look at the offseason. Padres, who were very good last year. They were up and coming team. They go out, they get Yu Darvish.
Mm-hmm.
They go out, they get Blake Snell.
Yeah.
We get Matt Moore and Chase Anderson.
And he's worried about the Philly Fanatics, his colors.
Yeah,
this is basic cable.
Whoa! Don't ruin my third reason to why they're terrible.
So, but we're going he's just not making moves right now. And like Ryan said a couple minutes ago, they have a lot of work to do this offseason.
And a little bit of me believes that Dave Dombrowski knows that, right? And
absolutely,
a lot of me believes that, and I know that he knows that. He knows that this like I've seen a lot of people, bring up that Girardi should be fired, Girardi this, Girardi that. So I've gotten into a couple conversations with a couple different people on the Girardi situation, and really figured out where I truly believe they're going to be. Girardi's not getting fired. I don't
think he should be.
No, and
we're not.
And it's not because he's doing a good job. That's not why I believe that he is here to stay. I think he's here to stay because, and someone brought this up to me a couple weeks ago, and I really, really have been thinking about it, and I really believe that it's probably it. This will be that would be their third manager in 5 years.
Yeah, it looks terrible.
It looks awful on the organization if they fire him. And I get it. It's not that he's not Dave Dombrowski's guy. He's not. This is not his manager. And it may not be his manager. But what happens next? A big question that I have is what happens next year if this team does not get to where they believe they should be, and that's winning the division, or at least one of them 2 wild card spots, getting to the postseason. Then do you hold him liable for what's going on? He's never had an over 500 record as a National League manager. That's a fact. That is a stone cold fact. He has never had an over 500 record as a National League manager. All of his success is with the $1 billion Yankees.
Right, and then that argument would be, well, he won manager. He won manager of the year. Well,
yeah, and he was still 6 games under 500, and he was and I believe he finished in 4th place that year.
And he didn't get rehired.
No, and he got fired, and it was mainly because him and Jeffrey Laurie. There's a Laurie. There's a Laurie.
Lauria.
Yeah, it's just different. So their owner, the Marlins owner, and him did not get along, and I know that that's a big thing, is that they don't get along. That's why I moved on. But there's been a lot of things, like Danny mentioned earlier. Chase Anderson, Matt Moore, and Vince Velasquez were the guys that they were relying heavily on in being.
Yeah, that was an actual plan.
They were solidifying. They were solidifying.
And then had no clue what they were doing with center field. They were just like, all right, and maybe I guess Hazley's, and then Hazley, I don't know what happened to him.
The bullpen was a huge question mark. They had no idea what they were doing there.
They brought in Coonrod and Alvarado, but players that haven't had much success in other places. Like Coonrod and Alvarado's numbers in their careers have been not good. Like it's not like they're great pitchers.
That's right. And that's
not be good. Like they're decent, but
Yeah, because everyone was like, "Well, didn't the Phillies spend a lot on the bullpen?" I said they didn't really spend a lot. They just signed a lot of players and hoped. It's like it's how when you're trying to find good people to work for you, you hire 20 people and you hope 5 of them are good.
And a
Unfortunately,
big thing.
Hold on, real quick. And unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. And as for as much hate as he's been getting all season, Hector Neris has been lights out since like July 24th.
Yeah, and
Yeah, he's been good.
but there's the thing. I don't want him getting moved back into the closer's role though.
No, and
I want him getting signed though.
obviously-
I want them to re-sign him, but he
Yeah.
can't be the closer. He needs to be that 7th inning guy. He needs to pretty much be a Ryan Madsen for this team.
Yes.
Come in,
which is fine, or very, very important.
get 3 outs, you're done.
Well, he kind of had that mentality when it was a closer that he was like, "Oh, well, I got to have 2 pitches and that's it." No, you got to don't rely on that splitter so much, because that's what's going to come up and bite you in the ass.
He has been throwing his 4-seamer a lot more. It's definitely helping. But
right, when he's coming in, he's throwing 3 pitches.
Yeah, like we're talking about moves. Like obviously, teams making moves. The Braves, who are probably going to win the division, it seems, and a big part of it is because they went and got Duvall, Soler, Peterson, and Rosario. We didn't do nothing to help our offensive part of the game or defensive, really. I mean, we got Freddie Galvis, but they lost Acuna and just said, "All right, we're going to get 4 outfielders
to make up for him."
Yeah, even if 2 of them play well, and Soler's crossing the ball, Duvall's having a good it just continues to hit. We didn't
imagine
do
how
shit
that makes it
in that aspect.
Imagine how that makes Ronald Acuna feel. Like I had to be replaced by 4 guys. That's how good I am. You need to get 4 people to even remotely adjust to what my value is.
And Duvall's got almost I think he's close to the RBI lead, and he's got 36 home runs.
I don't think he's got 36, does he?
I think he has 33.
Does he have 36? He might have 36. He's third in all. Is he? What is he? Is he? He's 4th in baseball, I believe, in home runs right now.
Yeah, but I
behind Tatis, Vladdy, and Ohtani.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, Toronto just was they're ridiculous.
Yeah, they're stupid good.
Great team to watch.
Yeah, they're stupid good, and it's the rest of the division there is extremely scary.
34 home runs. 34 homers, RBIs.
But look at that. That's incredible production out of a guy that you just kind of just said,
got for nothing.
Let's bring him back. He was there last year, and he was a solid player for them last year.
So imagine if Duvall would have came in and took McCutcheon's spot.
We'd be right there for first place. That's
a huge.
They literally went and got 4 outfielders, and we did nothing for our outfield.
And realistically, if they go in and got Duvall would probably have 45 home runs right now.
Right. Yeah. Or you go out and you get the guy who's
here because the outfield here.
Right. Or you go out and you get a guy who's batting .322 with 45 stolen bases, 80 runs, and you let him go to Oakland. What
are you going to do though? I mean, it's not like this team is oozing with trade possibilities. What's going to end up bringing people back? What's going to end up bringing people into this team? They're going to have to start trading off major league talent because they don't have one. They shouldn't be trading prospects right now. If you're wanting to build this farm system up, the last thing you want to do is kind of just get rid of them. Especially and like we've mentioned numerous times, they're so top heavy. This whole organization, their farm system is top heavy. It's Stott, Medina, Abel, Painter now. They're very top heavy at that at there, and they're the only ones who are really going to bring in a ton of. Luis Garcia is another one. They're not very strong in certain spots. And who's the other one that you love? Jalen Ortiz is another one who's an absolute beast right now, and they're climbing. Season, They're having a good season, and these are the guys who we're going to be talking about probably next spring. As could any of them possibly? I mean, we know Painter and Abel aren't.
Yeah, Abel.
They're a couple years away. They're probably 2024 is probably more realistically where they're going to be.
Yeah, I'd be happy.
Which I'd be happy with that because good development happened and they were able to grow into solid starting pitchers. But that's this is what scares me is that I'm not. God bless you.
Excuse me.
I don't know if they have what it takes to be able to overhaul this next year.
But okay, so you're talking about Adam Duvall. Like we'll go back to the Adam Duvall. Adam Duvall got traded for Alex Jackson, who, if you go and look at he was the 6th pick in the 2014 draft by Seattle.
Yep.
He hasn't been good. He hasn't been good in the minors. He is like I honestly I haven't seen him play because he's on another team and I don't know his stats, but is he that much better than anybody that we could have thrown him, like an outfielder in the minors? If it's like you can't tell me that if we were like, all right, maybe just say Mickey Moniak for Adam Duvall, there isn't a person on the Phillies fan who would be against that. I mean, maybe you guys, but I'm like, but seeing what he's doing now, I wouldn't have been against it. They got a guy who's batting 220 in the minors.
Chris,
Adam
Duvall
is only 32 years old, so I mean, he's still got say he's got 4 years left. That's 4 years with Bryce Harper and whoever they're going to throw in center field. By the end of the time, it'll be Bryson Stott in center field the way they're going.
I mean, there's a lot of problems though in this team. I mean, throwing money at play. They signed their main two signings in the offseason were Didi Gregorius and Realmuto, right?
Yep.
They were two guys that they had last year.
Yeah.
So, did you really make your team better by bringing them back, or did you just make your team the exact same that it was last year with a couple additions in the bullpen?
That's all they did.
Horrendous
bullpen. That's literally what they did.
And you have a bunch of fans who are screaming for, Realmuto stinks. Realmuto is literally the same player that he was last year.
Except he's not throwing out as many runners.
Yeah, and listen, and that's exactly. He had a quarter zone shot today. His shoulder is shot right now, and he's playing through it. And you can also tell when he swings the bat that his shoulder isn't. He's not lifting the ball at all. And another big thing with people need to realize is Realmuto's not a home run hitter. Stop thinking that he's a home run hitter. He has 2 seasons in his whole big league career where he hit over 20 home runs. Hit over 17 home runs. I'm sorry. 2. He's right at his career averages for pretty much everything besides average. And I think his slugging's like 20% lower. But again, that goes in with the shoulder injury, the shoulder problem right now. His shoulder is definitely shot. There's something there.
Absolutely.
So my issue was the leadoff. What was yours, John? The front office?
The front office right now. I mean, I just can't see where John Middleton isn't to really blame here, whether even as far down as the manager situation. You put them in a position where, and I'm not even going to sit here and say that Gabe would have been better because he wasn't. These are you. He didn't check. I feel like he saw World Series winning manager and just said he'll be a fit here. He knows how to win. That doesn't always work. It doesn't always work that you bring a World Series magically the team is a better team. Joe Girardi he's a good I feel like he's a good manager. I'm not sure if he's a good National League manager though. If that makes sense right now, because the National League is different with the pitcher hitting and stuff like that.
Right.
But that could change next year, where all this could be different.
We don't.
Yeah, and it's because he wants to. It's almost like he always wants to believe that the pitcher will not hit. He does his best to remove the pitcher from hitting.
Mm-hmm. Just get him far away from the lineup.
Continuously get him further away from the lineup, and I mean, I guess he wants to manipulate the situation, and I understand that, but like, we have to stop sitting here and believing that this guy he is competent because he won a World Series before, and because he's a former manager of the year. That doesn't mean that he is a great manager. That doesn't always equate to great to win. Like I've mentioned, he is a career below 500 manager in the National League. He went under 500 last year. He went under 500 in his 1 year with the Marlins, and right now he's 71 and 70.
Yeah, I think he's 1 game.
He's 1 game over 500. So right now, technically, his National League record is still below 500.
So what is Danny's issue?
I'm kind of going to piggyback off of the front office, but you went specifically with like Girardi and stuff. I think it's obviously just the organization itself, like the player development situation.
Yeah.
Like we talked about plenty of times, like teams like the Rays and like even the Braves, like they develop homegrown talent, and we just haven't produced pretty much any prospects. Every time we do take a prospect high in the draft or whatever, they always wind up being a bust. And like obviously that's not on the player if it's 10 out of 10 times. It's our player development system. It's been terrible for 10 years, if not longer. But I think Dombrowski did help because he obviously made some changes down there with the player development system. And this year has been a good year for the prospects if you want to call them that. Like there's a lot of players in our system that have had bounce back years this year. And teams like the Rays, like they produce so many high quality players that they can make those moves every season and get the pieces they need to go on a run. We can't do that. Like we just talked about, we're so top heavy. We only have a couple that are worth trading, but we need them to move forward. Other teams, their player development's a lot better, so they get to trade their 9th and 12th prospect and get a major league star, and we just can't do it. So I feel like we keep handcuffing ourselves and just keep hoping the same team's going to be good, and it's insane. It just doesn't work.
Yeah,
Schwindel was another RBI double.
They traded Anthony Rizzo and got better Anthony Rizzo somehow.
Yeah, they traded Anthony Rizzo and got fucking Babe Ruth apparently.
Yeah.
Right, and then
unbelievable.
Then there's those rumors of Rizzo and Bryant going back to the Cubs after this year. It's just comical.
It's unbelievable.
But they got Wisdom and Schwindel. They're better than them two anyway, so it don't matter.
It's crazy. So I wanted to. I mentioned to you guys earlier in the week that one of my things that I wanted to talk about was Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola, I've been looking for a couple weeks now, trying to figure out what exactly his issue is and why he's, struggling and what it is that is, making him struggle. That's pretty much what I wanted to do. I wanted to see if he's doing something different than he's done in the past. That was my main thing that I looked for. One thing that I realized in all of this was his fastball, his fly ball percentage. So he's from 2015 to 2020, his fly ball percentage was 29.5. You know what it was this year? You know what it is this year?
I'm gonna take a guess, and it's in the mid-30s.
Higher.
I don't want to go higher.
It's 40.2% this year.
I was thinking like 45, but I was like, no, there's no way.
So here's another, and when one goes, if the ball's going up, that means the ball going down, the ground ball.
Yeah, his ground ball percentage has to be absolutely terrible.
So his career ground ball percentage coming into this season was 50.5.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
His 2021 ground ball percentage is 39.8%.
Jesus Christ. Oh.
Yes. I was gonna say he's been striking people out. It's not the strikeouts.
What it is that he is keeping the ball up. His fastball percentage, his fastball is up 7.3% from his regular average. His slider is down 21%. His 21% usage slider is down from 21% usage to 13.2. So he usually used to throw it 21% of the time. Now he's throwing it 13% of the time. He's not getting swing. It's just crazy to me.
The stat on Twitter too is like his 2 strike hits allowed are the second most in MLB, I think, and then his 0 strike or 1 strike is like 62nd. So like all of the damage is coming with 2 strikes. Like it's crazy.
Also, he's throwing the ball in the zone far more than he usually does. He 6.6% of his pitches that are being swung at are inside the zone. It's more than what it was. 6.6% more. are being thrown in the zone than it was last year.
I'm a big,
I feel like he hangs his curveball a ton.
It's proven that he's just putting the ball in the zone now.
Yeah, I'm very frustrated with Nola. I've been for the last 3 seasons. He just disappears in September. But I feel like this year, if you go back and you look at his last couple of years, when did the Phillies actually put defense around him?
I mean, we've talked about that. We talked about his unluckiness this year, and there has been
Bryce Harper loses a ball in the light.
Sunday, Bryce Harper, and then next batter hits a moonshot.
That's just the luck of Aaron Nola. But people will sit there and be like, I can't believe he gave up a 3-run home run. Well, did you see what happened on the 2 plays before? Was there an error? Was there was there a fielder's choice that should have been out, but he was safe? There's a bunch of things.
There are things. I mean, and hard hit percentage is also a thing that when you see a ball, or even the park in general, he plays in a small park, but weirdly, he's pitched better at Citizens Bank Park than he has on the road. So you would think that his problem would be with the fly ball percentage and all that. You would assume that his biggest struggles would come at home because of those things. He's been far better at home than he is on the road.
Maybe we can go out and get Corbin Burns.
Steve's comment is funny because beginning of the season, we got a lot of people were bashing us for saying that Nola's not an ace.
Yep.
We were very, very adamant about the fact that he's not an ace, and people did not like that. But
here
we are in September, and he's clearly shown that he's not a number 1 team.
No, and so his home away splits. He's got 75.2 innings at home. He's got a 3.45 ERA. He's held opponents to 221, 257, 359 slash line at home.
That's actually a good.
And he's given up 9 home runs at home. On the road, in 87 1/3 innings, he's got a 5.56 ERA. He's given up 15 home runs, and he's got a 249, 309, 448 slash line against. I don't understand. It's a huge difference, and it's showing that for some reason on the road he just gets smashed, and that's been his problem. He's leaving the ball in spots that there's just no he's comfortable where he should be, and that's home. But even at home, we're not seeing some stud, but he's definitely. I mean, his ERA is literally 2.21 runs better.
Yeah, it's crazy
at home.
Yeah, so he's a good number 3 pitcher at home, and he's just not good at all away.
And he is someone who you don't even want to see on the road.
Yeah, he's Vince Velasquez on the road.
It's very frustrating.
Finally got designated and is no longer a Philly.
He got released today, finally.
Yeah.
Right. What were they waiting for?
Designated. Oh, it's almost impossible. Yeah, I mean, and that's true. I mean, Steve said that the Phillies with Wheeler, Suarez, and Gibson, the way they've pitched, we are the epitome of mediocrity. And listen, that's been the stands on the Phillies for the last 10 years, 10 plus years.
Our offense has not shown up at all. Besides outside of Harper, everyone else is either pretty much underperformed. I mean, even Herrera. I do not like Herrera, obviously, but he's been
easily shown something.
Yeah, he's been sadly one of our most consistent players. Outside of Harper, everybody's under. They haven't been lived up to expectations at all. And it's not like that they have lofty expectations. They just have a bunch of players that haven't been. Segura was great for most of the season, actually, but he's back to earth, and it's just Didi's been terrible. JT's been dealing with injuries. The rest of the lineup, I've said this almost every time we do an episode, just the fact that we have Torres and Jankowski and Vierling, Marchand, Nat, we have these dudes in the lineup every day. It's just we are wasting, like you said earlier, we're wasting Harper. Harper's having an MVP season across the board. You can't really deny it at this point. Wheeler's been great. Suarez has been awesome. Gibson's been good. He's been what we expect from Gibson, I guess. And it's just we really there's just no life on this team. We have one player that shows emotion, and the rest of them are just like going through the motions, which is it's not
and it's
not
frustrating.
inspiring whatsoever.
So
no, this isn't an inspiring team. This isn't this team shows no sense of urgency. We act as if we're supposed to just be okay. And like I said in the beginning of this show, I was joking around, but I was being serious at the same time. I shouldn't have to keep getting told that this is okay or this is just normal or because I'm from Philadelphia, I'm okay. That this is what happens. Yeah. I like Steve.
I do like Steve. I think Steve's from the painted line.
I wasn't expecting a D's nuts reference today,
but I enjoy it.
Right.
But
we appreciate you, Steve.
But that's my thing. It's you're gonna continue to tell me that I'm supposed to just be like, we're from Philadelphia, man. This is what happens in September. The Phillies stink, and then we're supposed to just move on. Like, no, I don't want to hear that.
30 years.
Yeah, like I'm not going to be okay with that. Like that's not cool with me. That I'm supposed to just be all right with that.
So I know it's early, and we're more or less writing the Phillies off, because it's what we do. But do you think they make a splash in free agency for a pitcher?
No. Do I think they make in free agency? No. I don't. And mainly because who's out there?
That's what
Scherzer.
I was about to say. Like, what?
Scherzer's not going to. He's not coming here. He's going to stay on the West Coast.
There's a lot of pitchers.
But who? Who?
I don't know. Maybe like a Carlos Martinez.
What?
Noah Syndergaard.
Yeah, like no. I don't want. I'm sorry. I don't want them. They're not going to make this team better. Right?
You don't think? What about Robbie Ray?
Robbie Ray could. Robbie Ray realistically really could. He could.
Right. I'm looking at the free agent list of like people who I think would come here. Like if I'm Robbie Ray and Toronto offers me the deal, I'd stay with Toronto because they're an up and coming.
Oh, absolutely.
So right now, the Phillies are going to be bringing back. Right now, the solidified ones who are coming back next year. The Phillies have 5 starters who will come back next year.
Wheeler,
Nola.
Yeah, this list is not
Gibson.
great.
It's got to be Gibson.
Suarez. Well, Gibson's contractually with the Phillies for next year. So
right.
It's Nola, Wheeler, Gibson, Suarez, and Eflin are currently all back next year. They're both all 5 of them are on the books next year. So I necessarily think
I think they think that's good enough.
And listen, I don't think it's good enough, but what I do think is that this team has like 4 other things that they need to fix that they possibly can make a splash again during next season for another starting pitcher. Like I don't see this. This list is old. The list is a lot. There's a lot of. I believe Zach Greinke is another free agent.
Yeah.
It's
like Bauer's probably never going to pitch again. But Kershaw, Scherzer, Gassman,
I'll go back to New York.
Greinke,
so.
Yeah.
Dylan Bundy, not good. Corey Kluber, Verlander, Pineda, Cueto.
There's a lot.
Charlie
There's
Morton.
a lot. Yeah. There's a lot of listen. I would bring Charlie Morton in for a 1-year deal, just to take off one of them. Maybe Suarez off and let Suarez pitch in the bullpen and give the bullpen a little bit more support.
All right. So, but
there's options there. But like, do I think that they're going to be able to do it? I don't know. Like because shortstop's an issue right now. There's a shit ton of shortstops in free agency right now. I kind of want one of them.
I want Bryson Stott.
Listen, Bryson Stott is coming, but Bryson Stott, I don't know if he's an everyday shortstop. So he might be. You might be looking at him at second base. Yeah, which I'm okay with, because I don't think, and I want Bryson Stott too, and I'm ready for Bryson Stott, but I've been ready for Bryson Stott for the last 1.5, 2 years. But I know that he's on his way. He'll be here, but I'm not sure if he's going to be the everyday shortstop.
You seen that ball that Trevor Story hit the other day? That would be nice if he was in that pinstripe.
Yeah, he's one of them. He's somebody who plays well in Philadelphia. He plays well here. He hits the ball well here.
I'm sure he wants to get the hell out of Colorado. So
you got Carlos Correa.
Make a push for him because there's rumors at the trade deadline.
They wanted too much for a 1 year for a guy who you weren't even. And they weren't guaranteed to get. And you know what? I've listened to a couple. Hans Krause is
fan.
I like Hans Krause, and I think you're going to see his name mentioned a lot next year as far as could he make the team next season?
Because he's going to be in spring training.
Yeah, absolutely. He made a huge push after the trade. He's looked great. I believe he's in AAA already.
Like,
yeah, so
he's on the cusp. Like it's pretty much it.
He's there.
He's I think if any of our the 5 starters we just mentioned, if any of them do go down with an injury next year, I think Krause is going to make.
You're going to see him up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also don't be shocked if the Phillies shop Nola in the off season. Like, see if there's any takers. I'm sure there will be. Nola's a good pitcher. So, and this comes back to the issue that I mentioned prior, is that there is a problem with like tradable prospects, because in reality, I don't know if anyone just saw that. That was one of the most frustrating things I've ever seen in my life. Matt Joyce hit a liner, shortstop dropped it, and he had probably the worst slide of all time in the first base. But, yeah, that was awful. Good God, that was bad.
And Nola's contract is very nice. It's a 4-year. And it was a 4-year deal, $400 or $445 million. Like that's a good deal. Like that's a very tradable contract.
Timothy Hickfier.
So hold on. We'll get to that comment in a minute. But like Steve said, his perfect comment is like how we're not trying to talk the Phillies in contention. We're not going to sit there and blow smoke and say this and that. We're not rooting against these guys either. Like we want them to make the playoffs because we know if they get to the playoffs, there's a 99.9% chance that they're not winning the World Series, let alone the NLCS.
Yeah,
but they need that experience. They need it. Like they got to get that experience in. So when you got these fans saying, "Oh, they're stupid for trying to make the playoffs," they're not stupid. Like they got to get that experience in. It just makes you hungrier for more. And then we have Timothy Hickfier. I'm sorry if I brutalized your name.
I think you did a good job. These last names are not the easiest to deal with.
Guys, do you think they still have a shot at the wild card? I mean,
anything's possible.
I do. I mean, they're as sick as it is, and I'm telling you that it's been a sickness for me for the last some odd months, however long the season's been, that I truly do believe that this team has a shot. I don't know why. There's something here, though. There is definitely something here. It's kind of like when
Bryce Harper.
And it's kind of. And I just don't see a world where he's just going to sit where you saw it tonight. He's not just going to sit here and let it be okay that they lose games. And yes, they continue to lose. Let's hear it for that. And this has been a normal reoccurrence. Let's hear it for the Tan Man. And I get that he's doing well in San Francisco, but I have a hard time believing, and we're seeing it now. It's not all about him. That they're winning. Like
the Braves.
I think he's a great man. I think he's a good manager. He just isn't a good manager. He just wasn't a good manager for the Phillies.
Oh, well, it goes back to the Terry Francona days.
Yeah,
let's go be realistic. Like how bad was the bullpen when Gabe Kapler was here? It wasn't a great bullpen. Starting five was okay.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't.
Five was okay.
Yeah.
If you put the Giants against the Phillies lineup, you're taking outside of Harper probably every Giant position-wise over the Phillies.
100%.
Like he has a better cast there. Like he was dealt better cards over there. Like
his guy.
And he got Chris Bryant.
Yeah, I mean, like just Chris Bryant, Crawford, Posey. Like they have a bunch of players playing well. Like their whole outfield's playing well. It's just and their pitchers have been lights out. So it's just like
yeah,
it's tough. Like they just have a better ran system over there. Obviously, that's the problem, man. Just our organization really letting us down every year.
I mean, and you know what? I would love to say that he'll get torched in the playoffs, but Gabe Kapler is right now managing very similar to Kevin Cash in Tampa, and the way that he maximizes every single player on his roster, it makes it very like. Being analytical in the National League is far harder than being analytical in the American League.
Think about that for a second. Tampa Bay. Blake Snell wasn't on the World Series roster.
He was last year,
or was it the ALCS?
He got. You don't remember? That was the big controversy. He got pulled early in the World Series game.
Yeah,
maybe that's what it was. I know it was one of the things that he should have been in the game or something. Are you sure?
They wanted
to talk about. Yeah, they talked about early.
It was Blake Snell. They took him out. He was dominating, and then when it got to the third time through, Kevin Cash knew how he knows what he is, and he took him out.
That's what it was. You're right.
But that's what he is, and it's not a secret. Blake Snell stinks with the third time through the lineup, kind of like how Nola usually does. Nola's not big. The middle parts of the game, there's a reason why he starts to struggle. But like
that's what separates the great pitchers. Like the third time through the lineup, they use they set the early innings are all for setting up the later innings. Like their game plan changes. They have different pitches they can go to, different locations. That just separates them. And pitchers like Nola and Snell are in the second tier of pitchers who can't just use. I mean, Snell does have nasty stuff, but he's just wild. He's also wild as hell. He throws the ball all over the place.
He had 9 strikeouts in 4 2/3 innings.
So
in that World Series game. So yeah.
So one of my biggest pet peeves recently, and it just goes to show again, this goes back to the problem with our front office. Right now, where we talked about Vinny V, Chase Anderson, and Matt Moore, they wanted them to be some type of fifth starter of some sort, where they will have just a surplus of starting pitching, where they thought they did.
Yeah, fourth and fifth.
So now we are in the last month of the season, and this team is set up to have bullpen games against the Cubs. They already have one against the Rockies, the Orioles, Pirates, and the Marlins. That's a plan. There's a plan to do that.
Yep.
You already struggle. Bullpen struggles in general, but and their mindset was to try to be similar to what I believe the Dodgers do this right now. They do a bullpen game, and the Giants do. The Giants do a bullpen game, as do the Rays. They have the difference between them and the Phillies are the Phillies don't have the bullpen talent that either of them teams have, or all three of them teams have.
Like the Rays actually have players designed for that, like Yarbrough and stuff. Like they do it. Like that, they have people specifically for that long relief role.
They're 6 outs. That's what they like.
Every bullpen game we have is a different starter. Like that doesn't like Coonrod will come in.
Coonrod started 2 in a row. Coonrod has started the last 2 bullpen games.
Yeah.
So like the Phillies have a 4.48 ERA against teams under 500 this year.
That's not good.
And I would love to say
teams over 500, 4.47. Like what?
Listen, if I can say one thing about them, they're consistent.
They're consistent.
Oh,
they're consistent as shit.
We don't care if you're good or bad. We're just going to think.
We're going to pitch you the same.
They're going to lose the next 3, and then they're going to, like you said earlier, they're going to go on that 7-8 game winning streak, and they're going to suck you right back in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already sucked back in.
Next Monday, we're going to be talking about, oh my God, the Phillies are this and that. And then they're going to lose. It's just,
I mean, I know you're about to hit me with the John. Well, this is Philadelphia, man. This is what they do. We're supposed to be okay with them sucking in September. Like, I don't want to be okay with that, Chris. I'm tired of being okay with that, and I think
I don't want to be okay with it, but I'm used to it. Like it doesn't.
You shouldn't be. It's absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. That was a psychopath move that they did. But it doesn't matter if he's a bullpen starter. He's just been the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pitcher. He just goes after guys. He doesn't
do too much.
No, I don't know. He sticks with his game plan and it works.
And he gets these guys to 0-2, and then he throws a ridiculous pitch, and they're like, "Why?" Like he just threw that pitch like down the middle, and they didn't swing, and then the ump's like, I got to call strike 3, right?
I think they definitely handled him. Like I can't believe it worked so well. Like I can't believe that it went that smoothly, and he's just been awesome. I mean, that's a recipe for disaster that they did, and it worked out great. So I mean, thank God.
Yeah,
thank God for Suarez.
I mean, the bright lights of this season, the shining stars of this season, have absolutely been Wheeler, Suarez, and Harper.
Yeah.
And that's all. If there's any takeaways from this season that you can look back and go, well, we really probably don't have to improve upon that. It's them 3. I mean, we have like a big part. My big issue, and it's been this for weeks, is that this team has relied heavily on Brad Miller's, Ronald Torres's, and stuff like that. They weren't brought here. Yeah, they weren't brought here. Like, and
they were
my buddy
minor league
Ryan.
contracts.
Yeah,
But
my buddy
I
Ryan
hope they make the team.
My buddy Ryan texted me in the beginning of the week, and I told you about it. When he said the Phillies giving Jankowski the playing time that he does over guys like Moniak and stuff like that right now, like at this point, what do you have to lose by letting them guys try? If you give them all like, 80 straight plate appearances without taking them out and see where they're at. Like they had no, it's not like it would add or take away anything from this team.
Moniak's the only one that hasn't gotten that opportunity this year. Like Hazley had his chance, Quinn had his chance, Odubel had his chance, Jankowski had his chance, and they just Moniak are like, well, bring you up, but you're just going to pinch hit once in a while.
Yeah, my friend Ryan said it perfect. That is organizational malpractice.
Absolutely.
And that's what it is. It's organizational malpractice. You are pretty much saying we're going to rely on guys who shouldn't be playing over guys who we should be looking at and seeing what we have. That is where you're going to struggle. That's a huge reason why this team can't make trades and have to trade major league talent, because you're not showcasing what you have.
Yeah, how are you going to
make
Mickey Moniak when you have no idea? We're no closer. They don't know what the fuck right now than we were last year with knowing what we have in Mickey Moniak, and he's been called up 7 times this season. That's ridiculous, and you have no idea what you have.
Telling me that he's going to pinch hit and saying, he struck out there on a pinch hit. He doesn't have it. That's hard for me. That's hard for me to say. That it is. You cannot tell me that him pinch hitting one time or one like playing once a week in a pinch hit situation or twice a week in 2 pinch hit situations is you giving that dude a chance. It's not.
Yeah. He's the only one that hasn't had a fair chance. It's ridiculous.
Did anyone see Spencer Howard yesterday?
Spencer Howard stinks.
Yeah, 6 runs in 1 1/3 inning.
I mean, is Moniak the head case or is Joe Girardi the head case? Joe Girardi, I'm not going to say how I know this.
Real quick, this is the first time on this show, or it might be the second time that someone other than Danny, or John has used the WAR stat.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta think though. There's a lot of situations where, and I've from things that I do know, I have been told that there is some type of dislike from Girardi to Moniak. There's an actual beef there.
Yeah. I think it's pretty clear.
That's a known fact throughout the organization that he just does not like him, which again is another big issue. You're using your position to tell me that this kid can't play because you don't want him to. Yeah. That is a problem. You're putting him in situations, and you're also putting him in situations to fail. You bring him in you bring him up to the majors for the first time in a month, and say you're going to pinch hit, and the guy you're facing is throwing 100+ every single time. He's not going to be able to time that the fuck up. Yeah, like this is where like and listen, if the Phillies hadn't hired, if this wouldn't be their if it wasn't their third manager in 5 years or 4 years, whatever it is, 4.5 years, this wasn't their third manager in 4.5 years, Girardi would have been fired already.
Yeah, I just can't.
I can tell you that right now.
Yeah,
and the next one, and to be honest, from reading of listening to things and hearing things, if he was to get shit canned, you're not going to be able to go outside the organization and probably hire somebody. You're probably going to have to go to Dusty Watham as your manager for at least a year, because he knows the guys in the clubhouse and he has a understanding of the minor league system and what he has and what they have down there. You're not, and that's the biggest problem with this organization, is that they're relying so heavy on these mid-level fucking replacement players, and that is a huge issue, and it's starting to really frustrate the shit out of me that you're just not giving guys opportunities to do anything.
Yeah, you bring in new managers every 2 seasons, you bring in the same bullshit minor league contract players to fill in positions. They do the same thing, and they never look inside.
Yeah,
They never look in their player development shit until now with Dombrowski. Thank God, but they've been doing the same thing for pretty much our lifetimes. They got lucky with the core that they had and the run that they made, obviously, but they just keep doing the same shit and expecting different results, like the definition of insanity, obviously. And it's just luckily with Dombrowski, they are making changes with the player development.
Yeah,
there has been
I think he's had enough
this year. Yeah, absolutely. And like we talked about with Breen, he likes to unload prospects. We don't have them, so he's doing everything he can to build the farm system back
so that he can.
Yes, which is fine. At least do something. This whole cycle of what we've been doing is obviously not been working at all.
No, I mean we're entering year what? This is going to be year not 10. Is this year 10? Without the playoffs? Yeah, 11, right? They didn't make it in 12. Last time they made it was 11.
10 years.
This is 10 years. This will be season 10 of not making the postseason, and
you have a MVP candidate and the Cy Young
in a world. And the last time that happened was 1962. If they both win both rewards, which I don't believe they both will, if either of them will, because of the situation, it'll be the first time since the 1962 Dodgers that happened.
That's terrible.
That 1962 Dodgers team actually won 102 games, though.
Yeah,
right.
missed it. Yeah,
so with that being said, I think that's a good way to segue into the ending of our show.
Absolutely.
Do you guys got anything going on this week?
No, I mean, my anniversary's this week, so I'm gonna be
just passed.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
but this is year 1. We're hoping that the baby doesn't come either. That's to ruin our plans.
Wow. Things to say out loud. That might have been one of them, John.
That's how you end the show.
Yeah, I like that one. Meek Mill, Ben Simmons, Joe Girardi. What is a rapper, a crapper, and a strapper? Well played, Steven. But yeah, so we'll be back next week unless the Phillies lose and Danny's got night work. Then he goes back to work.
Yeah, or my wife's water breaks.
Yeah.
I can't even. I'll be like, I'm still at soccer.
Yeah. You're at home drinking a beer.
Right.
Drinking a Sky out of a mug.
Ski.
Yeah.
Out of a frosted mug.
He's going to be up for 6 hours straight, just raging.
Rewatching the replay of the.
He's going to be listening to Down with the Sickness for all this shit in his basement.
Down with the Sickness.
Yeah, dude, that's going to be great.
So
it's 9 o'clock at night. And ask him what he's drinking. He's like, fake Mountain Dew with a lot of caffeine. Why?
He's like, his wife's like, what's going on?
Jolt.
Yeah. His wife's like, what's going on? He's walking into the wall like a sim. Not going anywhere.
He got pedal bike underneath his table right now, just producing electricity.
We're good.
Right, that's what I've been moving. So we have.
I feel like I'm moving at an incredible rate.
I'm doing my hands.
Oh, by the way, rest in peace to Norm Macdonald.
I know.
Rest in peace to Norm. That was that's extremely sad news. What a comedian he was.
For that long.
Yeah, he was one of my personal favorites.
I mean, his SNL skits with him on Jeopardy is just fucking top notch.
Oh, it's legendary.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
That's
great stuff.
Big hat. It's funny.
That in his
Big hat. It's funny.
And then when he was on the news and he did the O.J. Simpson,
dude,
he's just
so he got fired.
Yeah, fucking right he did. But he's phenomenal though.
Yeah.
I just thinking about it because I was watching it today and I was hysterical laughing. Like I was just
his part in Billy Madison was great, dude.
Yeah.
When he's just laying in the pool and they come in and they're like, she's like, where's Billy at? And he's like, he's at school, man. He's like, oh yeah, and he just sits there and just fucking gets smashed all day. Great call.
You know you're a great comedian when you don't have to be like the main focus of something and you still make it so much better.
Yeah, and you're a main great part of the movie. That's like Steve Buscemi in Big Daddy. Like he's a great part of that movie. But he's a bum. That's all he is in that whole movie. Phenomenal. But like I said, rest in peace to Norm Macdonald. He was like I said, a phenomenal actor, phenomenal comedian.
But yeah, we got a big Eagles game Sunday, 1:00.
Here we go.
Big 32-6 win.
You guys want to be down there? Yeah, the fans of Philly run a thing for I think you get a 3 hour tailgate and parking's included, and it's $60. Like that's such a steal. Food's included, beers included.
Parking alone down there is $20.
You're paying $40. Yeah, $40 for parking. So why not throw extra $20? You get to eat and drink for 3 hours. Like it's such a steal.
Yeah,
I'll be right back. But no, fans of Philly, like they're always running great stuff. I'm just promoting them, and they're not even with us. But I don't know. Anybody got any predictions for the Eagles game?
I'm not ready to talk Eagles. Chris.
I'm just asking
right.
for a game.
Chris, I'm still zoned in. All right, I don't want to get off. You stop trying to get me off the bus. All right, don't stop dadding me.
The bus is gonna run. Like you're gonna get off the bus and you're gonna get ran over.
Hey, Skipper, your grandmom's going to sleep for a while. Just don't stop skippering me right now, dude. I don't want to hear it.
It's Buddy.
Stop. Yeah. Hey, pal. Hey,
or Chief.
Hey,
or Chief.
Hey, Slugger.
There it is. Hey, Slugger.
Hey, Slugger. Grandma's sick. Like that's where we're at right now, dude.
Just go into a better place.
Yeah, don't better place me, okay? Yeah, don't better play. That's what you're doing. You're better placing me right now.
You'll better luck next year already.
Yeah, you're better. Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing.
But you know what?
There's always next year.
I can't better place you with the Sixers.
Yeah. Oh my God. Fucking.
Don't even look at it.
Nah.
Stop looking at the light.
Dude, no, it's like a car wreck, dude. It's like it's brutal. I'm looking over and I just see Andrew McCutcheon again facing a righty, again grounding out to the third baseman. It's been all goddamn day, and I'm just over it.
And with that, we will end it off on.
Please.
Goodbye, Grandma.
Yeah, please.